episode 19 directly to you. This is the 19th entry, almost 20, of our weekly podcast here on youtube.com/fanatixfour, soundcloud.com/fanatixfour, and
I got this. We're on Anchor, SoundCloud, iTunes, Pocket Cast, Overcast. Did I say Google Play already? Google Play got messed up. I had to email Google and get that situated. And soon, Spotify.
Yay, hooray! Yes.
So
that's right.
Bringing it to the people.
That's right. If you've been listening to the podcast for a long time, you know that that's always the thing always a joke we've always said in the beginning. We're like, oh, and not Spotify because, etc. But yeah, so soon we'll be on there. So that would be an old joke that won't be used anymore.
Yeah, it's a whole thing because I emailed. I moved this over to Anchor because for whatever reason Spotify hates SoundCloud. Mm-hmm. So once I did that, there's like this whole thing where they just they shotgun blast your stuff out to everything. That's why it's like there's places I never even heard of that we're on now.
Right.
Oh yeah, we're on Stitcher. I don't think we said that.
No, we didn't.
But yeah, so it's like they send it out to all these different places. And when I was first considering it and looking at it, I saw Spotify was one of the things that they listed, but Spotify isn't something that they guarantee, and that's because Spotify is backed up with their podcasts. So they shut down submissions completely, and this is completely separate from us trying to get on before. If we were still trying to get on from how we were trying to get on before, we would never be on there. They just shut off access to the people that they're already directly partnered with. So the people like the Anchors and the Lipsons and stuff like that, they're limiting access to because there's so many people on those platforms that are trying to get on Spotify. And it's just it's a bunch of nonsense. But anyway, that's not what you came here for.
You came here for discussions, and you want your comments answered, and we will get to that later on. But first, we got a few topics we want to run into. The first of which being, is it time to hate Nintendo yet?
I mean, you might judging by the backlash for the things that a couple of announcements, because they've been announcing a lot of stuff this last week. You would think there's Izzy, our pal Izzy.
Right, yeah.
He went on a few tirades. I would say ill-informed tirades for the most part.
I saw the video he dropped. I think the day of my video, right, on the 8th. Was it?
Yeah, he did. Well, he did a couple of videos. I think he did.
Okay.
Are you talking about the Switch Online video specifically?
Yeah. That's one I saw.
Yeah. That's one that you're talking about when he was complaining about the retro, the SNES games. That one?
Yeah.
He did another video after that complaining about what was it? There was something else Nintendo did or didn't say they were going to do that he lost his mind. Oh, the virtual console. The fact that they said that which you didn't even really touch on in your video. Somebody, a couple people brought up, where it was like Nintendo didn't say they were ending Virtual Console. They're ending the brand, the banner, which you mentioned. But for you, that's a foregone conclusion because apparently we're the only ones on YouTube that speaks PR. Where it's like them saying that they're ending a banner does not mean that they're ending a service. If you're
and I wanted to get into that a little later, but since we're talking about it here. Just in even in my video, because I saw there's a I guess I want to get
we can get into your video specific stuff later because it goes a little bit deeper than just the Izzy situation. It just seems like a lot of people on Nintendo goes through these cycles, right? Of okay, they're on top of the world. Everybody let's love them.
And then all of a sudden it's like,
and then it's like they do this these little things that everybody just perceives as being out of touch or whatever the case may be, which I think is a whole nother can of worms. That's weird. That's people are so trained by other companies' marketing that what they market as the norm is now the accepted norm. It's normal to fight over console wars because Sega needed that leg up in their marketing, so now that's just a part of being a gamer. It's normal to say that things like voice chat or whatever is a standard because Microsoft said it should be, it's like that sort of thing. Which I'm not necessarily knocking it, but I think it's weird that people say that things that are necessities, or people say that things are necessities that aren't for what the service, like what they're promoting. Nintendo never said that they're trying to be this internet connected conglomerate like everybody else. They're just trying to make a video game console. We are the ones that put the or not us specifically, but gamers are the ones that put this preconceived notion that they need to quote unquote compete when they're not even trying to acknowledge the other guys.
That's always the conversation when we're talking about anything, not even just when you bring up Nintendo in general. It's always a thing where like when Nintendo decided not to go for graphics and focus on bring the Wii into the forefront, people were comparing then. So it's always a thing. It's always that comparison when people, because people don't like this, let it be its own individual thing instead of just trying to always bring.
But that's the thing. Like they just don't. They just don't do it. It's funny because again, as in our own right, businessmen, I have to congratulate Sony and Microsoft for that successful marketing on one hand, because it's how everybody thinks about games now. It's like, well, you got to be like those guys. Where again, bringing it back to us specifically, at least how I view our channel and how I view the type of content that I want to make, it's, oh, they're going high, I'll go low, or vice versa. It's not like I'm going to try to compete with them head on. It's like, oh, everybody's talking about the fact that Kirby Star Allies just came out. Well, I'm going to talk about the game that's coming out 3 months from now. It's like that sort of thing where it's like, okay, everybody wants to be in the now. Well, I'll go future because I don't want to be oversaturated. And it's kind of the same thing where it's like, and to an extent, all three of them are doing a version of this where it's like, all right, Sony's the one that's super hyper focused on these story narrative third person games or whatever, right? And then Xbox is like, okay, well, we'll double down on services, and Nintendo's like, okay, well, we'll double down on gameplay and the fun factor and couch co-op and stuff like that. And it's just like people pick the little thing, they're trying to act like gaming service or gaming company should be Subway, where it's like, I want to pick the bits and pieces of the experience from other places that I think should be the norm and demand that you as a different company do that thing. And it's
it just sounds ridiculous. Honestly,
it's like people take the idea of being a consumer and misconstrue where your involvement in that is, right? Like, it's not all right as a consumer to buy a thing and then demand changes for said thing. It's all right as a consumer to see a proposition and say whether or not we want this thing, right? So it's like, we bought the Switch. We bought it on what they said they or what it is, what it actually is, not what people perceive it as. Because, it's like everybody's going to have their own reason for why they bought a Switch. They're going to say that they bought it in hopes that it was blank, blank, and blank, right? But as far as Nintendo and any other corporation is concerned, when you give me money, you're giving me money for what I say I'm giving you directly and what I'm currently giving you, not what you take from what I say I might do. If we were to say maybe someday we'll do streams every single day, right? Us not doing that now and be like, oh, I'm going to unsubscribe because you said maybe someday you'll stream and you're not streaming every day. It's just like, that's not how this works. It's like, you buy or don't buy based on what is being presented to you. It's not their fault that you took what they said and ran with it, literally ran with it, right? And it's not like there isn't things of value to buy from them, right? And again, even the people like Bob, right, where he's kind of more so towards us in that, they're a company, they have the right to say okay, this is what it is, blah blah blah, but at the same time he's like, they should have voice chat and blah blah, and I'm like, I mean, you have every right to think that, but on the same token, we don't even use it. Even when we're able to, we stream Xbox games all the time. And where do we stream them? On Discord. It's like, it's that whole thing. And it's not, it can't be because, Like, we can't stream our audio through voice chat on the console because that's a possibility. It's not hard to do. In fact, I would say it's easier to do. You know why we do it, though? Because the voice chat on consoles sucks.
Right.
It's not
as we
good.
said before on the previous episode, it's just like it. I don't know. It's just not. It's not necessity with all these other third party software out here. It's just not something that's like a now like 10 years ago or something like that. Like a, you know. Like, yeah, you know, when all these other services didn't exist or they weren't like so abundant, but now it's like it's not something that has to be a thing. It's definitely one of those things where it's like, oh, the other consoles have it, so you should have it too.
Yeah,
that's definitely what
it almost feels like a thing of like I don't have it, so it's hyper. Like I'm hyper aware of the fact that I don't have it, and that makes me angry.
Right, exactly.
Know?
But if you were to get it, it's like who to say you would even use it? You know, you might, but at the same time, it's like. It might just be sitting there, you know?
And then it's like people have these weird, again, this weird idea of standards and how standards work, where they're like, it's okay to be angry that like Nintendo doesn't have a universal party system on their first at bat at this, and the first time that they publicly are like, yeah, we're doing this thing, right? But where was this outrage when Sony wasn't doing a party system? You know, like where was that at then?
Yep.
It's just like. Because people have different expectations for
people
different...
have like it's like they have like selective patience, you know, with certain type of things. Where it's like when 360 was doing all this stuff and the PS3 was nowhere to be found in terms of even in the same league or category. Everyone was like, oh, well, whatever. You know, they still had their support, and you know, and that's okay. You know, that's okay. They had that, but it's like, where is Nintendo's at this point? You know.
And the other thing that's like
weird.
Just on again taking it to our involvement in this, like our jobs of like, okay, we're supposed to take what's happening and then translate our thoughts on the matter to other people to start a conversation, right?
Right.
A lot of times my end is more I try to be somewhere in the middle because I can see where both people are coming from, but ultimately I usually land, or at least it seems that I land more on the side of the corporation, because at the end of the day, rewind back to what I said before, we don't have to buy anything, right? Like I said a lot about the Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze being priced at $60 on Switch versus being $50 when it came out on Wii U, right?
Right.
I said that Nintendo has the right to do that, right? On the same token, did I buy Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze for $60? No. So it's like me saying like, yeah, Nintendo has the right to do that, and I have the right to look at that and say, I don't want that right now, right? And again, I mean, that's not to say that I don't think the game is worth that, because I honestly do, and I would, but it's just like, I already have the game. It just
doesn't make sense on a business level too. Like a lot of these people that are commenting this don't understand. Like it's like, why would they undersell a game that's of that quality? Just going off like
if
people's reactions or review.
If you can sell it for $60 and people will buy it, you're gonna sell it. You know
exactly. And not to I mean to cut you off, but like just to mention like the install base of the Switch already. Like this thing is, why not try to capitalize off of all the success of this console and how the millions more people that have the Switch as opposed to the Wii U, which just doesn't make any sense. Why you it was, you know, this minority that bought it on the Wii U, we're gonna undercut it for them. Like what? Like you know, it just doesn't.
I don't get the rationale of like, because another offshoot of this conversation is like, oh well, again, it's our quote right as consumers to complain about this, because how will things ever change if we don't complain? And my retort to that is, when has complaining ever helped with Nintendo, right? Like a lot of times people will bring up like Xbox and how they changed their whole thing with Xbox One and like that whole messaging and all that stuff, right? But what they're not accounting for is the fact that Xbox only changed that decision when they saw they were trailing 2-1 for PlayStation 4 versus Xbox One. PlayStation was beating them 2-1 in pre-orders. That's what changed their mind. Money changed their minds, not complaints. Money. And Nintendo, being a company that's like, oh, okay, yeah, everybody's complaining that the game's $60, but we're, again, bringing up this 2-1 metric. We're beating our Wii U sales numbers 2-1, $10 more expensive. So why in the world would we drop the price when we're selling more than we did then and making more money from it? On a like doubly more money, because it's like they had to already have recouped their money from the development, like the initial development, right? And then maybe they spent another $1 to $2 million porting the game and adding all whatever other assets that they did onto the Switch, right? Why wouldn't you, as a company, like as a corporation, a place that employs thousands of people and their whole goal is to turn a profit for them and their stockholders? Why wouldn't you continue to have that price point unless you see a red flag of like, oh, sales are dropping? All right, time to drop the price.
Yeah, it's just, it's easy to sit as a consumer and be like, hey, this isn't, this is more money taken out of my pocket. But at the same time, it's like you got to think of it from their point of view, like from their perspective. They are a business at the end of the day. It's money speaks. Speaks volumes.
I'm not even necessarily saying that like it's like from the angle of like, oh well, they're a company, you should feel bad for them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying people are purporting that their side doesn't make sense. That's what people are trying to like say about this whole situation. Like, it doesn't make sense that they charge more money for an older game or whatever. No, it makes complete sense. It doesn't make you feel warm and fuzzy inside, and it's your right as a consumer to say, no, I don't want that. But like that's
the thing. Yeah, exactly.
That's where your involvement in a situation. That's where your rights end, because they're not forcing you to buy it.
Exactly. I was just about to say that. I was just about to say no one's forcing you to buy anything. Yeah, and that's pretty much the end of it. It's just like no one's forcing it on you, and it sucks. Tough cookies, but that's just the way it is. It's just. That's how it goes.
And if like people want to be mad about this, because it's like I don't know, it was like some glitch or something on the Wii U eShop where like for like less than a day, that before the Switch version of this game came out, the Wii U eShop listing for Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze wasn't there anymore, and people were like, oh yeah, they're being scummy and they're forcing us to buy the Switch version even though it's more expensive and blah blah blah. First of all, like, if you have a Wii U currently, right, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna buy the Wii U version of this game. First of all, not only do you have the option to go to GameStop and then pick it up, you can get it for $20 used or whatever, right? You can go to Amazon, buy it used, $20. Like, how, like, not being able to pick up that game, like, say that somebody's trying to like make look for a bargain. And they're like, all right, I'm not going to buy the Switch version. I'm going to buy a Wii U. And then I'm going to buy the Wii U version. What a bargain. It's like... Yeah. Like, that doesn't... None of this adds up. It's like it's outrage for outrage's sake. And it just like, I don't get it. Right? And, like, take this on the end of, like, PlayStation, right? I bought a PlayStation. I spent money on a PlayStation, right? But I currently don't have access to it, right? I have money to buy another one. You know why I don't? Because they currently don't have enough value. That's new value to me. That's not just rebuying stuff that I played and got my enjoyment out of to buy it. And am I screaming about that? No, I just didn't buy it. But what is making me buy it? Spider-Man's making me buy it. It's like that. That's their right as a company to try to sell me on a thing. It was my right as a consumer to say, I don't need that right now. It's like Sony's not holding a gun to my head and saying, oh, you better buy this PlayStation 4. And I'm not screaming outside their window being like, oh, you better lower the price of the PlayStation to a price that I think it's worth. It's like, why would they do that?
Yeah, exactly. If it's their interest is, their interest. That's just it. You gotta just look at it like that. It's like they're in a business to make money, and things that just make sense, like on a strategic level. Like it doesn't make any sense for Nintendo to be like, yeah, we know we'll lower this game. We'll lower this game and to appease a group of people that. Aren't the majority. Well, me as in myself, I never owned the Donkey Kong Country for the Switch. I mean, for the Wii U. Sorry. I have no problem spending the $60 to get it for the Switch.
And the thing about it is, like, you not spending that $50 on the Wii U version. that was your right as a consumer.
Right.
To say,
right.
That's not a game that I want right now, you know? But now, after all the critical acclaim, and the reason why they're doing this, you know, like the fact that the game is more popular now than it was then, and it's available to a wider audience now than it was then.
And now I got a better console to play it on. So
Exactly. So it's like,
you know,
really the $10 thing is not something for them that was a bad decision for them. If you feel like that $10 isn't worth it, you know, or it's not worth that extra $10, then don't spend it. You're not like you're not beholden to them to buy the game, and they're not beholden you to make you want to buy it. Like, they have their audience. They have the audience that saw their initial value proposition and bought into it. It would be they're only responsible for themselves. If people are like, I'm not going to buy that, and en masse they said that, right? Like en masse, everybody's like, I'm not buying this game. Then it would be like, duh, like drop the price like every other company does. Right, but notice, Nintendo still, like, I'm sure I brought up this example plenty of times, but like Pokemon White, there's been, like, they released that game, right? First year it sold, I don't know, like 13, 14 million units. That game continued to sell 2 million more units a year for $40 versus, think of any other company, right? Where it's like, all right, this game's been out for a year, we'll drop it $20, $30. They would have missed 2 million $30 transactions. You know, it's like,
yeah, true.
why do that? Because that's why prices go down, and that's what people, again, and again, maybe it's because of effective marketing on those other companies' parts. They think that prices go down because that's the right thing to do for the consumer. But really, the company's doing that because it's the only way they can get those games off the shelf. If people aren't buying your game for $60 and it's taking up store space or shelf space, you gotta lower the price to get people to buy it. You know, that's not Sony being like, you know what, you're my pal, so I'm gonna drop this. I'm gonna make this affordable for you. It's like, no, it's like, they're not buying it for this price. We got to drop it. That's what it is. These
corporations are void of emotion. They do what's best for the business, and that is smart for the business to drop the, you know, it. If you see the sales aren't hitting at that price point, lower them, so that way you incentivize people. So then, you know, okay, I'll jump for $40 as opposed to $60, you know, and then hopefully they can get that off the retail shelves.
Right. So look at it like this, right? They're a corporation. They're not your friend. They don't claim to be, and you'll be happier if you acknowledge that up front from the door. You know, it's like, this isn't a friendship thing, right?
Because then you won't get mad at anything.
Yeah. On the flip end, right?
This.
You know what outrage I would understand?
What?
If, like, us, right, where a big part of what we do is friendship with our viewers and stuff like that, and we engage and we have like conversations with these people, and like we play games with them, and we joke back and forth in our Discord and do all that stuff. If we were to say, okay, you know that thing that you're used to getting for free? Now every single video is $5. You know, it's like, that is something worth outrage, because we presented something to you and said, hey, you know, like, we're here, we're about community, we want to start these conversations and stuff like that. And then
to change that and do
we pulled the rug from under you and said, you know what, you know that thing that you got for free, now it costs money. Like, that's an entirely, like,
all of our videos are locked behind YouTube Red.
Yeah, every single video that we ever made now costs you $5 a week. It's like, that would be scummy. But Nintendo, something that is like completely optional, it's never been something that they promise to you in any way, shape, or form, or any other company for that matter. If Sony wanted to, I mean, which they did with, like, The Last of Us, where it's like, all right, The Last of Us is a game that came out last year for $60, and we're going to release it on our new console for $60. You know, like,
right.
That's within the right. Same thing with, like, Tomb Raider and, like, Sleeping Dogs and Saints Row the Fourth and all, like, all the games that, when between the transition, they transitioned over. Like, they're within their right to do that. And you're within your right to say, I played this on PlayStation 3. I don't need to play it again on PlayStation 4.
Same thing happened to me with GTA. You know, I got GTA 5 on the PS3. I was like, I'm not getting this game for the next generation, you know, and that's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine, you know.
Right.
So yeah.
So what I'm saying is, everybody, you gotta hate Nintendo because, like, you're anti-consumer.
They're the first company to ever do this ever, and we all hate them. And we're gonna be outside with pitchforks and freaking torches lit.
Yeah, I lit my Nintendo Switch on fire 3 days ago.
But speaking of things being lit, my video for this week. That's what the kids are saying. It's lit. Everything's lit. Lit. Yeah. So thoughts and opinions on my video for this week. I've been waiting to hear
your video sucks, and I hate everything about it. And you're stupid. And
Ow!
The idea of making me pay money to stream video games is just outrageous, and I don't like it. No, but I don't know what I think about that. I think that that would be a smart way to go about it. I think that would minimize outrage. There would still obviously be outrage, but I think it would minimize it if, instead of being like, hey, you know this game that you bought on every console you own, buy it again. And they're just like, all right, you have access to it. For the thing that you're paying the other guy for anyway, we'll give you access to the game that you bought already. Or whatever, right? Rather than, like, so let's say your scenario, right? With every single game on every platform, that each platform costs an additional $10, or every 2 platforms, I think was more along. It was like 1.5 platforms. It ended up being with your example. Say they didn't do that, and they said, all right, rebuy literally everything at the new market price that we're going to do. So, we'll get to later with Izzy's comment on your video. Let's look at it this way with their current service. In the event that that's the service that they're selling us, and Switch Online was actually called Nintendo Classics Collection, you know, like if that's what the thing was that they're marketing to us as the product, and not just like an ancillary part of the product, we're getting 20 games for $1.70 a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So how long would we have to be subscribed to this service to give them as much money as it would take to rebuy even the NES games that we've bought across platforms?
Oh my God. That's
the $1.70 a year or a month that I'm paying them for. Even if I just want Super Mario Bros, I couldn't even buy Super Mario Bros for that $1.70.
Right.
And even if it was like, and this is in a perfect world where you buy things, and the things that you buy you always play, and you return to it all the time, you know, because that's the thing that people do, you know, like they always have the right to return to it, because everybody is returning to Tropical Freeze right now, you know. So like, but yeah, like in that event, you would only have to care about 4 of those games a month. For it to pay off for you, because assuming that all these NES games are $5, that's 4 games for the year. It's like, all right, I got that's all I care about, these 4 games for the year, not the like the idea of like, here's 20 games and here's another 10 games next month and here's another 10 games. Even if they say, all right, here's another 10 games, we're pulling back 10 more, you know, it's like, even if they do that, then it's like, first of all, they're not going to do that and then keep it like that, because that's money laying on the table. They're not going to do that. Yeah. They're going to say, all right, we're pulling these 10 games off, and now we're selling each of them for $5. They're going to do that. Oh man, that transitions a little bit to Izzy's comment, so I guess we can go to that. Yeah. Unless you have further thoughts on your video.
Yeah. No, I definitely want to get into the comments, because a lot of these, I definitely want to not attack, but just, you know, give my
bad phrasing.
Right, not attack, but just like, just give you guys a better,
just dive into them.
Give you guys a better understanding. Yeah, delve into
probably not going to agree. That doesn't mean we're trying to attack you.
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not. So all your commenters, just be prepared. But
because they didn't agree with us or agree with you, so that's fine. You know?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Dang, this is a book. Hold on. So first comment from Jord Cap. I hope I'm saying that right. Cap. Yeah. I would like to see your idea come to life. The only problem is that I'm sure that adding online services with the library size of games under one company would be too overwhelming. I would only imagine. However, if they do the Netflix/Hulu route and put some titles with the online support and maybe like a $5 tag on it to the game all the time, but that still doesn't quite negate the mass amount of servers that one company would have to upkeep and maintain. Also, adjusting the catalog size to keep online all the way up to the Wii games would take time. If they do plan to do this, then expect them to work on each generation of games, I dare say, from 6 to 8 months at a time to get each generation up and running. Though I know nothing about this topic to get all of it programmed and set up. For all I know, it could take up to a week, be a week-long project.
I think that he thinks that this service is a streaming service, and it's not. They're not gonna, like, we're not streaming the games. I'm pretty sure they're downloading. Like they would be downloaded games that we have access to.
Right. It wouldn't be even though I mentioned PS Now, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, I don't think.
Right.
I think it's Games Pass. It's not PS Now.
Right. So yeah, I don't think there'd be a lot of upkeep as far as that happened. Like the mass network of servers. I don't think that would be an issue.
They don't have the infrastructure for that.
Yeah, not at all.
The only company that does right now is Sony, and even they barely have the infrastructure for that. And they bought a company that's special. They spent $400 million on a company that specializes in that. And they still, like, that service still barely runs, so I don't think Nintendo would do that. Granted, these are, as of right now, these are NES games, so they would run a lot better than PlayStation 3, 4, it's like all the games that run on
right
now.
Right.
But even that, like, I can't see them wanting to stream the games. They're definitely going to be like, because, I mean, we already know they have the ability to limit our play time on games. So they can, like, just like they can say, oh, you turn this game on 3 times or whatever, you have 7 plays left. They can say, oh, it's past the month, or past, like, how long you had left on your account, or we don't supply this game anymore, and pull it off from there, or just not allow you to open it. And I don't think that takes a whole lot of back end power to be like, all right, well, it's like
right.
We're taking up a lot of servers trying to, like, basically do DRM, which doesn't take that much processing and that much server load.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do the whole stream to your console, and it would just be like for the thing I propose, it'd just be way too much. So I don't think that would be it.
There's no way that they would be streaming like GameCube and
right
to 15 million plus people. It's like they're not gonna do, and that's just assuming that like the 15 million that have are the only people that are gonna buy it. Like EA, which is another like mini news story that happened this week. EA says that they think that by the end of this year, they think that the Switch is going to be past 30 million units.
Dope. I can see that happening. Definitely with man, just wait till E3. Wait till E3, and then when E3 comes, we'll be able to have a definitive yes on that. So I just can't wait to see.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if just on the back of, like, just off the games that we know, like, I think Smash Brothers is a game that has the power to do that by itself.
Oh, heck
I
yeah.
know Pokemon is a game that is enough to do that by itself. So it's like Pokemon for sure. That is the game that, like,
man,
people are like, I don't know if they're going to, by their next fiscal year, if they're going to hit 30 million or 20 million sold this fiscal year. Pokemon could do that by itself. It's done it.
That's going to be a massive release. That's going to be huge. I don't want to talk about it because I want it right now. But on to any other thoughts on
I mean, I would agree with this comment if it was a server thing, like if it was a cloud based service, but I don't think that's what it is. So yeah. Appreciate the comment, Jordan. So on to Izzy, and I guess you. Okay, I grouped them together because they're kind of like along.
Okay, kind of on the same. All right. So I guess Izzy is the one
because Izzy said one thing, and then pretty much everybody in the comment section was going against like the thing that he was like that he was raging about in his video, and then he can't like because he was raging about the thing on the video. I comment on his video like, dude, you're overreacting. Like you're getting mad at the thing that you're making up in your head. And then I was like, you need to just watch the response to our video, because even on our video where we're more so positive on this thing, or not positive, but not ripping their head off, you know,
right?
People are correcting us and being like, oh well, actually they didn't say that they're ending the service. They said that
which I'm definitely going to get into for you guys who commented that. But on what Izzy said, he says, y'all need to stop calling those 20 NES games free. It makes absolutely no sense. It's like saying I get free cellular service with my Rogers subscription.
So we had a whole thing in the comments for this. I replied to this because it was stupid.
It's just
because we're not buying that. Like,
right. It's an additive thing.
And this is what I told him. Right, where it's like, I mean, we went down this whole rabbit hole where it's like, all right, sarcastically being like, okay, 0.0083 cents per game or whatever, right?
And at that cost, it might as well be free, like.
But that's assuming that that's the only reason why you buy this. Right. That's assuming that the service that they market as free, like they say, like this isn't the thing that we're trying to sell to you. This is just another thing that you get, right?
Right.
So
exactly.
Like after that whole rabbit hole, he's like he kept going back to that question. So he's like, oh, so do you get cable free? Is your rent free? Blah blah. And it's like you notice what the problem is here, right? You're saying the blank bill, you know, like, is your cable free with your cable bill?
Right.
You know, it's like,
right.
It's like, no, because you're talking about cable. If they're marketing Switch Online as, like I said earlier in the podcast, this is the NES collection, $20 a month or a year or whatever, right? Like, that would be one thing. But the fact that they're like, all right, here's this service and here's this thing to lighten the blow on the fact that we're charging now for our servers. Because we don't know. We don't know why they're charging for the servers. Maybe they're going to bulk them up. Maybe they have plans to invest in their infrastructure. I don't know. You know, it's like that would be the logical thing to do. And Nintendo's a 127-year-old company for a reason. You know, even though people don't want to acknowledge that. It's just like that. That's not how it works. And then at the end of it, where this kind of died. Where to me it felt like a silent retreat on this topic, where he's like, oh, so is your phone bill free? And I was like, no, but the free like the deals on gas and the free Starbucks on Tuesday is, because that's what T-Mobile does. T-Mobile's like, hey, here's your cell phone bill. It's $80 plus tax and like equipment fees and all that crap. And then also we have T-Mobile Tuesdays, where we give you deals on hotels and free movie tickets and all this other crap. Like, they're not charging me for that. That's just a thing that they offer to make you go with them. Just like when, like some places, if you buy a phone, you get a tablet or whatever, right? Like, oh, you sign up with a cable provider, you might get a free laptop, or if you buy a laptop, then you get an Xbox. You know how like they have deals for stuff like that. It's like if they didn't have this deal going on, you would be paying the same exact price, but you wouldn't get the Xbox. So what does that mean? That means that you're getting the Xbox for free.
It'd be like oh, you know, you get this Smash character that comes with a stage. It's like I'm paying for the stage too. No, you're paying for the character, but the stage is added onto it. It's a thing that's added on. It's not. It's like you said. It's not. They're not marketing it as this is the NES $20 subscription to the NES games, and that's just it. That's, you know, it's a sidebar.
I don't know. I don't necessarily know if that comparison is apt, because it like the cost of the character is more with characters that come with stages, so that's kind of different. I would say you're paying for the package deal on that. But in this case, it's not like they have an option without the NES collection that's cheaper, right? Or that the other stuff doesn't come with it.
Yeah, like the online service itself is like $15, and then with the NES is $20. Like, you know, it's like
it's like maybe that's why you want to buy into the service. But then we go back into the conversation about consumer rights and all that stuff, where it's like, do you have a right to demand what their service is, or is your right to say, I don't want to buy the service that you're providing?
Yeah, true.
Which that's not like, this would be the thing that I would understand, like people say, like, because again, like, it's weird because Izzy right? And I understand, like Izzy for the most part, like me, obviously, me and Izzy are cool, right? Like,
Right.
this is not like a serious, like this isn't a beef, you know. But like Izzy's the only person that I know, like person, not like internet troll or whatever, like in the comments that like faceless nobody or whatever that has in like within the span of a week has called me a Nintendo hater and an apologist. Like, he's the only person.
Wait. Why do you call you a Nintendo hater?
3DS.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. So it's like,
That
how
makes
can you
sense.
be? How can I be a zealot, like somebody that is like obsessed with the company and would do anything for a company and just forgives everything? And I'm so vehemently, vocally, like up in front of everybody, being like, this thing that they do, that they're all behind, and they're saying we're putting our name behind this for the next 2 years plus, and all that. And I'm like, it sucks. Throw it in the trash. Like, what? Like if it was if I was just like this huge, like every decision you do, like I was just this drone that like whatever they wanted, I'm like, yes sir, you know. It's like, nah, it's not what it is. It's like, I just don't have the same values that you do, and I don't like the things that make you mad don't make me mad, and even the things that do make me not want to buy into a corporation or their product or whatever, I don't make a big stink about it. I just don't buy it. You know? It's
Right.
You don't, again, you don't see me tweeting every other day how, I hate Sony so much. I'll never buy a PlayStation. If anything, I want somebody to go to our Twitter, twitter.com/fanatixfour, and look at how many times I retweeted Insomniac Games post about Spider-Man saying, yo, give me a PlayStation Pro. And it, like, for me, it's like, it's more helpful to be helpful than to try to like tear something down, right? Like, they're not the only power that we have as consumers to deter companies from doing things that we don't want is by not buying into them. Like if we're like, oh, this is stupid and I hate it, and we buy it anyway, they're going to do it anyway. But if we're like, I'm not buying this, that's what's going to have them scurrying around like Mitomo, right? People didn't vocally say, oh, we hate this, please turn it off, and Nintendo shut it down. You know why they shut it down? Because people weren't using it. So you know what's going to cause them to shut down Switch Online and rethink that and take it back to the drawing board? Delete the app. Don't touch it. Don't talk about it. Just don't use it. That's what's going to shut the app off. Talking about it's not going to do nothing.
Exactly.
Because
like, people aren't using our service, like, and you know, it's like at that point, it's like we gotta redo this. People aren't using it, and it's hurting us, affecting us. Right. But talk is talk, you know.
Even their logic, like a lot of people's like, oh well, maybe if I tell somebody that's less informed that they should be mad about this thing that they're not like mad about just naturally, right? They should be mad about this too. You know, like if it's really that bad, where it's like it's this unusable thing and it's this terrible experience and blah blah, then everybody will hate it. And you don't got to say anything. You saying it, if anything, is going to make people like it more. Like it's the Marvel effect, right? Where it's like before the movies come out, they're like, oh, this is the best movie, Black Panther. Now that before Black Panther came out, people are like, oh, it's the best superhero movie of all time, blah blah. It comes out, and then everybody's like, oh, this movie sucks. It's like, it definitely doesn't suck, but you're trying to course correct for the fact that everybody, like, in your mind, overrated it. And that's what people are going to do from you being like, oh, the Switch Online app is just, it's tyranny, and like they don't care about us, and it's the worst, most archaic thing to ever happen to gaming. It's like, nah, just don't say anything, just don't use it, and it'll go away.
Yeah, exactly.
If it sucks that bad.
Yeah, people don't understand. When you vocalizing, you're giving, not even just anything. You're giving it power. You know, that's just the best against that is just silence. Just, you know, just act like it doesn't exist.
Again,
it won't.
I don't use that. I don't use that at all. I don't even open it. I never used it, even once, to be like, oh,
same.
Let me see how much this sucks, so I can be angry about it on the internet. I never even touched it. It's like, I don't want that, so I never used it. It's that simple.
Same.
It's that simple.
Yeah. On to Jonathan Peele's comment. I'm disappointed you didn't mention the key word that Nintendo said. They stated that the name Virtual Console will not be returning to the Switch. It doesn't mean that the classic games can't appear on the Switch outside of the online service under a new name. There's a lot of sites currently sharing this misleading title, but the content of the article shows otherwise. I hope you clarify this on the podcast, and I will clarify it right now. Jonathan, sir, even in the video I said Virtual Console as we know it is gone, RIP. That's not to say that how I approached the video was the console is done. We're not gonna get any classic games on the Switch ever. Of course, it's just a rebranding. That's all. It's a rebranding. Even in the comments, going through, it was a thing that
has just shown me that most people don't look at company or just messaging in general how we do, right? Where it's like, even on things like Facebook, right? Where it's like they say whatever in their terms of service, people will read it one way or won't read it at all. And they're like, it's fine because blah, blah. It's like, no, like this clearly says that this has your rights to, like, the rights to blank, blank, and blank. It's like companies pay lawyers millions of dollars to word things in very specific ways. It's like they're not going to get, like, you're not going to be able to move the narrative in one way or the other because it's intentionally vague to leave it open for one way or the other. It's
that ambiguous Smash Bros. Marketing.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's just like, even in our case, especially like with this video in particular, it's just context clues. Like from down to my wording in the video. It's not like I said classic games are dead. Things something like that. Like, they're never coming back. It's done. No, it's a rebranding.
It's kind of like how we say this game needs to change, and then people try to read into that further and say, oh, you hate this game you've always hated it, and you want Nintendo to burn and explode because you don't like their games.
Exactly.
And it's like, no, I didn't say that.
Exactly. So yes, the Virtual Console, as we know it, like, is gone. And it's gonna be rebranded as something else. So that was that whole thing.
And the other thing that's funny is, like, I feel the need to apologize for this because I called this months and months ago, and everybody thought I was crazy. But I apologize. You don't need to apologize for me. I mean, to me, for shooting the messenger. But, like, the tea leaves were there the whole time, where it's like, clearly we're not going to have Virtual Console in the way that we're used to it. It's not going to happen. It's been a year. It's not going to happen.
Right. Just looking at how those things they're released, like, literally
the arcade archives.
Right. It's just, come on. Like, anytime like the Wii that was dropped, like, I think that was dropped, like, any system that, like the Wii U, 3DS, those were dropped around that time.
They were like dropped within 6 months.
Right.
Like, Virtual Consoles came out within 6 months of the release of the console. And it's been over a year, so obviously, it's not the same thing. And they, like, even like with Wii U, right? Like, they mentioned the fact that Virtual Console was going to exist before it did, but Switch, they never said that. They never like, oh yeah, wait for the announcement of Virtual Console. They never said anything like that. All they said, even alluding to it, is like, we'll talk about how that's going to turn out in the future. Right. It was never a thing of like, we'll announce it. It was just, we'll talk about what's going to happen with that.
Right. So the clues were there early on. But on to what SpectrumBot 42's comment. Awesome vid, Fanatix Four. Like, seriously, why are GBA and GameCube games not on a 3DS and Wii U Virtual Console respectively? Yep, the former can run N64 with updated graphics, and the latter can run Wind Waker, TP in HD. I'm guessing that's Twilight Princess in HD. Yeah. But having Advanced Wars and Melee run on them is somehow an issue. Even the Wii's Virtual Console, I'd argue that XBLA did it better, Xbox as Live. The old... Yeah. Oh, Xbox Live. Okay. as the older games were given new features such as what?
Ikaruga.
Ikaruga. Yeah, okay. Ikaruga having leaderboards and prototype mode. The Switch has a great concept for reviving games. But that phone needs to go.
I don't think you understood what the goal of Virtual Console was, because Twilight Princess and Wind Waker running on in HD, running on Wii U is not the same thing as emulating games. It's not. Like, the 3DS would not be able to emulate Luigi's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion had to get concessions, like cutbacks, and they had to pare things down for it to be able to run on there. It had to be specifically tailored to that platform. That's not how Virtual Console works. Virtual Console is like, all right, we're going to wrap this in an emulator, in a sense, and throw it on a console, and it's going to run like that.
Right.
To be able to run an emulator, I mean, it's the same concept of like try to run a GameCube game on a regular PC.
Not gonna be too. Yeah,
it ain't gonna work.
It's not gonna be. You're not gonna have a good time.
Yeah, your PC is definitely more powerful than the GameCube, but to run it in an emulator, it's going to need to be several times more powerful than the GameCube to run it properly. That's just how it works. Because your computer, for one, has to run all its normal systems to be up and like
all the things that are happening in the background by itself, and
then it also
to just be on,
and then it also needs to be able to pretend to be a GameCube, which takes additional processing power in addition to the processing power of the GameCube. And a lot of games like the GameCube run certain things like it's why console gaming is like games typically when ported, they run better on console than they do on PC in general, where it's like we never have a Batman Arkham Knight situation on console because they're centralized. It's like we know what we're going to get here. You don't have to account for all these different variables. That's
right. Let me make sure my graphics card is good, and all this other crap.
Right. Like the game knows to, like, Wind Waker knows, like, all right, we're going to need this part of the processor and this part of the RAM, and like for this part we're going to have to ramp here and blah blah blah. It doesn't know, the game isn't programmed to know that with your NVIDIA chip or your AMD chip.
Right. That's
like,
your setup. That's you know that. That's for you to And a lot of people like that control, and if that's your thing, cool. But
so the game needs to be able to. I mean, not the game. The processor needs to be able to trick the game to be like, oh, I have what you need. It's like it doesn't run the same. It's not the same thing. It's not a 1-to-1 situation. So what you're talking about is more so ports than they are virtual console emulations. Which, I mean, they better be. If you're going to port a game, you better be better than the emulation of the game.
Right. And not on ports. We're talking about new iterations. And speaking of new iterations, Mario Maker 2. Your video this week, you had tagged along with Bob. Hello, Bob, if you were listening to this podcast. Which you should be listening to this podcast. But anyway, great video. My thoughts on this are limited because of my lack of experience with Mario Maker as a whole, but I did like the incorporation, or the when you brought up Paper Mario and said that I think that'd be cool to see. We can never get enough Paper Mario, so I like that. That was cool. I took that little takeaway I got from that. There were just so many things that you might as well have been speaking in Russian to me, because again, never playing Mario Maker, which is like, that's gonna hurt some people's feelings, me saying that, but
fake
it
Nintendo fan, you hate Mario,
right?
You never played Mario Maker.
You probably didn't even get Odyssey, no, but yeah. You have any thoughts like after, like on the aftermath of like, oh, actually I could have said this, I could have this.
It's weird.
What?
For whatever reason, a lot of people take me not like dead-eyeing the camera and just staring straight into the camera at all times as me reading off of something. Where it's just like,
you've been getting a lot of those comments?
No, not a lot. But I get them pretty consistently from a small amount of people. I'm talking like 1-2 people on a video.
I was about to say I've never, but what?
But it's like just in natural conversation. If you look at like Bob, right? Like you don't do that. That's not natural. Even when I'm talking to a person, I'm not staring at them in their eyeballs every single second of that conversation. You know?
So it's like.
It's like when you emote and you're like, this is stupid, or you're being sarcastic, you're like, come on, like you look to the side a little bit, you know, it's like you kind of like, you know, like your face is facing one way and your eyes kind of like, you know, side eyeing, you know, like that. I mean, that's just how you
and for moments when it calls for that, like dramatic moments like this, or like if I'm emphasizing a word, of course at that point it's like, okay, look at the camera, but for other points it doesn't always require that, and especially you know, it's just, if anything, you'd feel weird. Like, why are you standing at me? Like, you know, people would feel
like,
weird if you were
doing that. To me, that would feel stilted. It would feel like I'm, like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, it's unnatural to just stand straight and still and look directly into the lens the entire time. It's just like, that doesn't make any sense. And I mean, again, it's not this huge thing that, like, everybody's like, you never look at the camera, which is another reason why it's weird to me. Because if it was this, like, I don't know, like what is the word, this objective problem that I have, that I never look at the camera, everybody in the comments would be saying you never look at the camera. But again, it's like 1-2 people, which is weird.
Yeah, that's really weird. And speaking of weird, these comments, no, I'm joking. Matthew Hindmarsh says I'd like to see many additions to Mario Maker to spice up the game. Personally, I would really like to see the idea of more game themes, with Super Mario Bros. 2 being one of them and the other a Super Mario Land theme. That'd be cool. I also think the ability to add water, lava, sand, etc. into a level would be nice, as well as the rising water, lava, sands platform seen in New Super Mario Bros. U. A few other things I'd want, but can't be bothered really explaining in depth. More power-ups, the ability to give the player an option of playing as Mario or Luigi, the ability to add official Mario music to the level from a large selection of lists, slopes, new stage settings, beats, jungle, etc. More enemies, climbable spider webs, iron fencing. Dang, holy crap. Iron fencing with switchable layer like Super Mario World, uploading a world of levels so they can be played sequentially. That's about it.
A lot of this stuff I mentioned in the video. I think pretty much everything that he said I mentioned in the video, except for the climbable spider web / iron fencing, because that's kind of like super niche and granular. And I like more of the stuff that I was talking about was pretty broad strokes. Like I want even the themes, I didn't really touch on like how the themes should be different. I just meant like the art styles and stuff like that, because they don't even use like each game's engine anyway. It's like every game is like kind of this lowest common denominator. I mean, really, they all run on the new Super Mario Bros. Engine. So I didn't even really touch on like the differences that way. It was just like an aesthetic thing of like, that would be cool if they added these aesthetics to the game. But
not necessarily copying the exact like you know. It'd be nice to have the aesthetic, but not exactly. You don't have to copy and paste, you know, the whole entire.
Because they're not going to do that,
right? That's doing too much. So yeah, Jesse Gibbons, welcome back. This is like a name I recognized from the last podcast, I believe it was.
Yeah, he's a regular. He comments all the time.
Yeah, so thank you for that. I don't have a 3DS or a Wii U, so I don't know what's
unsubscribe. Don't become. You're no longer a regular.
So I don't know what's available in those editions of Mario Maker. I think it's safe to say, as long as it is impossible to rebuild every level in every Mario platformer from NES and SNES, it isn't complete. Why shouldn't that include Yoshi's Island? I want to be able to have Kami grow any enemy to a ridiculous large size and have the player battle it as Yoshi. And just like in Yoshi's Island, if the player is good enough, they can skip the battle completely, like in Naval Piranha's Castle. This would open up so many more mechanics, like Chomp Rocks, Egg Dispensers, Fuzzies, and Morph Bubbles.
I kind of responded to this in the comments, where it was like, for one, I don't really consider Yoshi's Island a Mario game. Like, it was called Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, but to me that reads more of like Captain America Civil War.
Right, it's like Super Mario World 3 Wario, you know, it's like
it's like Civil War is not a Captain America. It's an Avengers movie that focuses kinda on Captain America, and I mean that's the same thing with this, but like in reverse, where it's like it's a Yoshi game. It has Mario in it. And Mario's name is there.
They had to put Mario's name in there, or else it'd be clickbait.
Exactly. Yeah, Mario had to, like, you know, he had to be the baby because they can't use his name otherwise.
Right.
It's like, and they weren't going. They didn't know if they could sell a Yoshi game before that. You know,
exactly.
It's
it's Super Mario World 3 Wario. Exactly. So
yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
Something you care about.
They're using the comic book strat. Where it's like, oh yeah, you like Spider-Man from Captain America Civil War. Here's Spider-Man's movie, even though that's a stupid example because that made me angry that they felt the need to use Iron Man to promote it's Spider-Man. Are you stupid? Like, who knew Iron Man before the movies?
True, I definitely
didn't. Very few people. So it's like he was like a D-list hero, but that's beside the point. That's what that was. It was a comic book collaboration to be like, all right, let me elevate you with my star power sort of situation.
Spider-Man's the greatest.
Outside of that, I think that's too complicated. That's a whole nother thing, you know. Like we were just talking about with the engine thing. Like, you're adding a whole nother game's engine to include that aesthetic and that's an aesthetic in an engine that's only used in that one instance. You know, like, you can't give Mario the Yoshi mechanics because then he wouldn't be Mario. You know, so it's like,
yeah,
I don't know. Wouldn't really make much sense. IMO.
Hot Dog Todd 2.0. Really random suggestion for you.
What happened to the first one?
What
happened to the first hot dog Todd? Let me know in the comments.
Maybe somebody ate them. I don't know. Really random suggestion for you to hopefully consider. I enjoy these type of videos. You're a good personality. I completely disagree. You're a good personality commenter, and the video have good ideas, so I'm not complaining. Just a suggestion, however, why don't you consider doing other types of Nintendo videos, such as Let's Plays, or just playing games like Mario Kart, Splatoon, ARMS? Speaking of which, I turned a friend on to Splatoon yesterday. He bought the game, and that's freaking awesome because we're going to be playing that because, yeah. ARMS and other games of this nature. I'm not saying quit this series entirely. Maybe just cut down to one video. No. Anyway, one video a week and upload some games on your channel. I like you as a personality and would like to see you play games low-key and feel like it would help grow the channel. Smiley face.
He put more there. There's more.
Oh, shoot. Me for not scrolling down. P.S. Do you remember me from the Mario football video? Hint, pink and green Joy-Cons.
Yes. I mean, I responded to this one too, but I wanted to get your thoughts on it. For me, I mean, I'll summarize my response to this. Maybe someday. Doesn't really make sense now because that stuff doesn't do good. These podcasts barely even do good. The stuff that does good is the stuff that we do 2 times a week.
Shots fired to our own podcast. No, but yeah, exactly. And as far as your suggestion to cutting down the videos to once a week, I mean, it's kind of already what it is as far as like individually. I mean, maybe he's not aware of my videos on the channel, the videos before on Tuesday, because I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
Because like just the way that video, that comment was phrased.
Well, I guess because he said maybe just cut down to 1 a week. He's just talking about action point, like one action point a week, rather than
one action point, then like one game video, like let's play added to that.
Yeah,
that would.
That's suicide.
I don't know. Yeah, it just.
We wouldn't do that. Just, I mean, on the same token of like what I said about the paying thing, where it's like we gave you this thing for free for so long, and then we're like, all right, now it costs money. It doesn't really make sense for us to be like, this thing that is doing well consistently, we're like, all right, just 1 week now. We used to give you 2, now we're giving you 1.
Yeah, that would like the viewership be messed up, and everything would just go out of whack at that point. Plus, it wouldn't feel as fulfilling. I mean, it'd be fun playing games and stuff like that, you know, on a regular basis and getting those up, but it just feels good putting out a video with like, you know, action action points, and if we're talking about sharing ideas and getting ideas out there and having you guys either say, "Yay, I like your idea. This is freaking awesome. This is the best freaking tier system for Nintendo I ever heard in my life," or "Your video sucks and blah blah yada yada yada."
You dropped the ball in that joke. You really did. You should have been like, let me redo the joke for you. You should have been like, "Oh, this is the best tier system I ever heard." And then, or on the other end, you could be like, "Oh, you're stupid. You don't know what Mario Maker should be." Blah blah. You're not good at jokes. You're fired. Hot Dog Todd, you want a job? But no. I mean, that's not to say that stuff won't happen in the future, but it would be in addition to, not to replace, It's like, it would be us being like, all right, now we're doing 3 videos a week or 4 videos a week, and one of them is a Let's Play. It's like, which I'm not promising that, because Let's Plays are kind of dead. Like, if we're going to play a game, it's going to be in a stream. But, yeah. We'll play games. I play games already every Sunday on the Wolf Den at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Plug.
Come watch us play Mario Maker this Sunday.
Plug. All right, so on to the Q&A. This is the special segment of the podcast. These are for this is the VIP list. This is the people that join the Discord. These are the true 9-to-5 fanatics. These are the ones who get off of work, and they go home. They see the videos up at 4 o'clock, and they're like, you know what? I'm watching this, and I enjoy this crap every week, and this is just good content. So these are the guys that you guys want to be. This is why you guys want to join the VIP section. In other words, the Discord. Join the Discord. Ask your questions so we can add them in, and you can feel included into the content, because the podcast, everybody likes a good shout out every now and again. So, be sure to do that. So link on the Discord asks, or rather says, questions. Neither the fruit nor the orange was named. This is a response to the question. Okay,
this is a follow-up. This is a sequel.
I like it. This is part 2. Neither the fruit nor the orange was named first. The tree was named first. The orange and fruit was named after the tree it grew on. The color came a long time after, based on the fruit. My podcast question is, did you know that? That was funny. That was really funny. No, I did not.
I knew that, but I didn't know that in the way that you explained it. Like I was just like, the fruit was just the thing of, like, it's a product of the tree. So it's like I knew the fruit was named first. It's just a question that people ask. Like the chicken and the egg. The chicken and the egg, yeah. Spoilers. We'll come back to that later.
All right. Like jet ski on Discord. I don't like jet skis. No, I'm joking.
Stupid.
Says no, I'm joking. Do y'all think Cappy will be incorporated in the next 2D Mario? If yes, how do you want to see it done? I want Cappy to be incorporated in this match. Anyway, just expanding his jump move set or allowing captures for certain enemies. Also, Run Jump Stomp is another great Switch podcaster who has done crossovers with other shows. He might be up for doing a show with y'all. That'd be cool. Always down for collaborations and other creatives who making dope stuff.
You should tweet them. Tweet them and tell them, say, hey, make a podcast with these guys. Or tweet both of us and say, yo, you guys should do podcasts together. Or Facebook, or whatever your form of.
Yeah, but as far as the first part of that question, no, I don't want to see that. It just feel too samey at that point. It would just feel way too samey. I wouldn't like that.
I don't know if it's a thing of, like, I don't want to see it necessarily. Like, if they're going to do that, put it in Mario Maker. But
yeah, it's kind of like an homage. That's what Mario Maker is.
As far as, like, do I think that they'll do that? No, because Nintendo doesn't really, like, they didn't put Flood in 2D Mario. It's like Flood is a sunshine thing.
Right. It just
like Cappy is an Odyssey thing.
Right, and I mean, and once you do that, you take away what makes Odyssey special. That was the selling component of that was such a huge part of the the marketing for that game. So just taking that and putting it somewhere else,
I
that
could
would just be
maybe
weird.
see them doing similar things. Like, okay, let's not throw out the whole idea of Cappy. Let's allow Mario to throw his hat. You know, it's like I can see them doing stuff like that, and then maybe his hat just has less. Like it's more so for dedicated platforming segments rather than like being an attack of some sort.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is like kind of attack, but instead of like it doing damage, it like distracts your enemy or confuses them or whatever, so you can jump on their head. I can see them doing something along those lines, and it not being Cappy, but just his hat.
Yeah.
But I can't see them like taking the whole of the mechanic and transplanting it elsewhere.
Yeah, the only place where that would make sense would be Smash, where it's like it's commonplace to see those type of things be from their newest iteration.
Rip people off. And
it's like here's this ability you like in this game, and it's here for your use in Smash Brothers, which is it needs to be. Which I'd be pissed if like Cappy was like a taunt, and then they still added flood. I'd be like, well,
yeah, like his eyes just pop up out of
right,
that, and it jumps up, and then that's you got Cappy.
I'd be pissed. Oh shoot. Speaking of piss, Chewy on Discord. I don't even know if that relates. I don't even know if that relates. That was just a weak segue. My segues are getting worse as every episode. Maybe on the 20th episode of the podcast, it'll be better. Chewy on Discord says really just wanting some healthy debate on this question, but also calling out AJ on this one. You talk a lot about how a new game should try to innovate the series, yet you say Mario Kart 8 is the best Mario Kart? All it added was to the game was HD and zero gravity. Zero gravity ended up being a bit underwhelming, and I don't really notice it much. Meanwhile, Mario Kart 7 was the game that added kart customization, gliders, those long tracks that aren't laps but 3 different sections. Why say Mario Kart 8 was the best one when it was more of a refinement of existing gameplay, you idiot? Did Mario Kart 8 do enough to innovate the series, dummy? No, I'm joking. Those are all added emotions at the end. But thoughts on that very angry question?
I wouldn't say it's angry.
No, I'm joking. I just read it angry. But yeah.
But no, I disagree. I think that you're misinterpreting me saying I prefer new ideas to just doing the same thing over and over again. Like a lot of that spawns from them doing the same thing over and over again and not improving through that same thing. Like Kirby Star Allies, for instance, is not a better version of Kirby 64, right? Or Kirby Superstar even. Those games are better than that game. It's just like a de-evolution of those games. Mario Kart 8 is the best instance of what the games have done up until this point.
It's a culmination of the decades long of Mario Kart.
Right. Because it's like I guess his logic is like, because I like innovation and I rally behind innovation, that I should like Double Dash more because it's the biggest difference. But I don't want innovation at the detriment of quality. Like you can, like the Mario Kart Double Dash didn't need to sacrifice tighter controls to have the Double Dash mechanic. Like the fact that Double Dash is so like floaty and loose is why I prefer Mario Kart 8 over that, and Mario Kart 8 over 7, because Mario Kart 8 is the most solid racing game. It controls the best out of every other Mario Kart.
It's like taking a great game like Star Fox 64 and then innovating it into Star Fox Adventures and making it garbage. no. Freaking speaking from the perspective of like the majority of the
You just had to bring up Star Fox. I don't know, did you talk about Star Fox at all today? I know we did before the podcast.
No.
But I don't know if you brought it. Let us know in the comments if you brought up Star Fox in the comments.
No, I don't think I did.
But yeah, it's more complex than that. It's not a thing of like, I love innovation above all else. It's like, I appreciate innovation and I would prefer a game to be innovative, but if a game is better, a game is better.
Yeah, true.
And Mario Kart
that makes
is
sense.
just a better game.
That makes sense. Hero of Time. How you doing, Link? No, Hero of Time on Discord.
Like, you said hi to Link earlier.
This is another Link. He goes by another name. Hero of Time.
The other Link.
This is no. This is Hyrule Link right here. We're talking to. This is the guy.
So you're saying that the other Link is like from Terminator or whatever?
Yeah, this other Link is that other Link that was a different Link. That was like Dark Link or something like that. This Link right here. This Link. No, but Hero of Time says going to rant against Nintendo Prime. Opinion on Nintendo becoming EA.
So Nintendo Prime, that's the podcast. I'm going to do that podcast later today. Later on Friday for people that are listening to this when this goes up. So the podcast is going to be up. So you can go to youtube.com/Nintendo Prime, I think. I don't know. He might still have his old URL. Who knows? Google Nintendo Prime, he should pop up. But anyway, he has this video that he said that Nintendo's becoming EA, which is a big inspiration for why I was like, it's time to hate Nintendo now. Because it's like they're doing these small things of like, I don't know, that's, again, quote, anti-consumer, unquote. And it's like taking it to the extreme. More of that debate is going to happen on the podcast, I'm sure.
Just like extrapolating on one piece and then freaking and taking an extreme. Just like, they're the devil.
It's devil. Like, this is a slippery slope. They're charging us $20 a month for 20 games a month. You know, it's like,
right.
Slippery slope. They're going to be freaking closing down retro studios before you know. It's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. Do you have thoughts on that?
I could go on all day about how that's incorrect, and it's just people. I don't see why people
exaggerate.
Are so
it's an exaggeration.
They're just so extreme. You know, like they're like, oh, Nintendo's tyranny. They're just so evil, and you know, it's like everybody just calm down.
I mean, let's be real. Like, even EA isn't evil. They're not. I mean, they're not like the ideal game development company. But they're not evil. We're exaggerating. It's like nobody's point a gun to your head and say, you better buy Madden 19. You know, it's like, it's fine. It's fine. We'll all be okay. EA did not break into your house and steal your mom's treasured files or whatever.
Whatever. EA going to EA. I said it. I brought it back. Anyway.
That's a callback.
Yeah. Iron Thor, which is a regular. Thank you, Iron Thor, for always leaving your questions. I'm gonna just say yes before I even answer this. Do we or do we not need a Metroid Prime collection with with motion controls on the Switch? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes. Didn't we already say this?
One for the fact of, I think, you know.
Save it for the video. Logan's going to do a Metroid video. Everybody, clap in the comments.
It'd just be awesome. That's
clap emojis in the comments.
Thank you for spoiling the freaking spoiler alert.
You know what? I do what I want.
Anyway.
Okay.
I guess that's the end of the questions.
Yep.
Next time you guys gotta ask us more questions. We gotta get like 25 questions. No, I'm joking. But thank you guys. We answered
more questions than we usually do. Usually I cap it off at 3 or 4.
All right. Quick run back and shout out to Iron Thor, Hero of Time. We have Chewy on here. We have Like Jet Ski, sorry. Link, the commenters, Hot Dog Todd 2.0, Jesse Gibbons, a regular. We have Matthew Hindmarsh. We have Spectrum Bots 42. We have Izzy and Jonathan Peel. No hard feelings, Izzy.
Izzy sucks. Everybody unsubscribe from Izzy. And tell him and send him videos he throwing your 3DS in the garbage and lighting it on fire.
Right, freaking. Send him a freaking video of you putting a nail upward, like in your 3DS, and then closing it on the. So that way, it's like it was just hurt his soul. And Jord Cap. So thank you guys so much for your involvement in this week's content. We appreciate it, and hopefully you guys will stay tuned next week. We got more stuff coming at you, and yeah. So AJ, what should these guys do?
This isn't the same type of question. It's still a question, but is the question chicken or the egg a distraction? Should we be asking the cows what's up with that? Is that a conspiracy? You decide.
All right, we look forward to your answer next week. We look forward to your answer. See, this right here, it's going to set the internet ablaze. But
the most important question in this entire podcast.
Exactly.
It's the most important question we'll ever ask.
All right. And as always, goodbye and good night.
As always,
something we never said.
Nintendo.
As always, $20 up a year. What?
That should be that's another thing. We got to do that.
What?
Have you been doing that every week?
What you mean?
As always, thing we never said.
Yeah, we need that. We haven't been.
Okay, do it every week. That's a new thing. Put it up on the calendar every week. So as always, yes, I want sauce with that.
As always, where's my napkin? All right, see you guys.